Hello, my name is Brittany D. I am a psychic medium and spiritual teacher. My divine purpose is to assist in the expansion of the collective consciousness and to help you become more connected with the divine. This is a space to remember all that you truly are and ignite the possibilities of your highest potential. Hello, hello, hello. And thank you for being present with me in this current now moment. Today I'm going to talk about something that's been really heavy on my heart, and it's been really challenging to navigate as someone that does influence, as someone that does speak out, and has a following and people that listen to her and makes a difference in the world and, all these kinds of things. It's been really challenging for me to talk about the pandemic that we're walking through as a collective and just COVID in general. And I've actually even been scared. I've been operating in fear of something happening with my channel, with my podcast, or with a post or whatever, getting blocked of some sort. And then also losing people that I genuinely love and connect with and follow my work. And they, move away or turn away and no longer want to connect with me because of COVID, just not even my perspective or their perspective, just because of what we're experiencing right now. And so, but I know how Spirit works, and I told Spirit to tell me when it was time to say my piece, I guess you could say. And I definitely know that this story, at least, this right now, needs to be shared. It's time to, it's definitely time. I need to at least share this. And so something that I have been experiencing a lot lately since, states, there's different states and businesses and things that are starting to do vaccine mandates, to work there or to cross the border or whatever it may be. I've had a lot more of my clients come to me and say, Brittany, what do I do? This is how I feel. This is my perspective. I have this family member, or I have my whole family, or I have my friend, or whoever it may be that's not hearing me, or I just know that this is how they feel about it. And they're so strong about it that having, a different perspective, I'm going to do my best not to talk about opposing, because it's not opposing perspectives. We all have our individual perspective. And so, has a different perspective than me, and I don't feel like they're going to hear me, or I'm just intimidated by this conversation, or I'm intimidated to go on this family vacation because I'm the odd man out, or whatever it may be. And so over this entire time since COVID first started happening to us as a collective, since we first started experiencing this, I've had obviously conversations like we all have, right? But recently, over the last month, I've had so many of my clients coming to me saying, I don't know how to navigate this. I really need help with this. And even people that I'm meeting and traveling or whatever it may be, it gets brought up. And I keep saying the same thing over and over and over again. And I didn't realize I was just genuinely speaking from my heart. And then I realized the consistent pattern of obviously how I believe that we should be talking about this and be handling this. And what I keep repeating is that we need to talk to our brothers and sisters. We need to talk to one another. We need to communicate with one another. I feel like what's been so challenging is that people are not able to talk anymore. People are not able to communicate how they feel. And then they feel like their feelings are invalidated. They feel like they're not heard. They feel like they're not seen. They feel like they're not honored. And then it creates separation. And so as someone that's in unity consciousness, and it is my purpose to unify our collective through love and the love and the light of the divine, to bring remembrance to every single being that we have that light within us and that you are so incredibly loved, and to connect with that and to listen to that. I keep repeating, I've noticed in my travels that I keep repeating, just talk to your brothers and sisters. Like, that's how you can gain perspective. This is how you can expand on this. This is how you can, figure out what's a good choice for you, or what resonates with you, or whatever it may be. Like, talk to your people. We, the people, need to be talking to each other. And that is my personal belief. And I realized this very consistently. I started seeing this very consistently as I was traveling. And then, I had this experience last night. And after this, I was like, I have to share. And I knew that this platform, the podcast, would be the best way for me to share this. And the experience I had was that I went to this networking event, right? Well, I'm still here, but when you're listening to this, I will have been gone. I went to this networking event, life-changing, and I met an absolute soul sister, and I knew that she was I knew that we were going to connect before the event even happened, just seeing her name and stuff on the group page and, in the group chat and stuff for the event and just different things. I knew, I was like, I really connect with her. I connect with her energy. And then, I flow, and then lo and behold, we end up connecting, and we're talking, and we just really blended so well together, and we're having the best day ever, and all these cool, crazy synchronicities and just confirmations that we needed to meet at this event. And so we decided, I had something emotional that I was moving through at the very, very, literally the best day ever, the first day of the event. And then at the very last 2 minutes, I had something come up that I needed to move through. And everyone was going out to dinner together as a big group. Not everyone, but a big group of people were going out together. And we planned on going, but I told her that I'm struggling with this right now. And so we stopped on the street side. When we were walking, we stopped and we pulled over, and we did breath work, and we moved through it, and she supported me. And then I was like, okay. And it was released, sent it back to Gaia, alchemized. And then we're like, okay, let's move on. But at this point, we're way behind the group. So we decide to go to dinner ourselves. We were like, this happened for a reason. I think just you and I are supposed to go to dinner. Let's go to dinner and get really more in depth, right? Because you're at an event. We're super connecting, but we're at an event still, And so we go to dinner. We're having the greatest time. And then somehow, somewhere along the way, right, I'm sure you guys can empathize with what I'm saying right now. I'm sure that you've been experiencing this. COVID gets brought up. And I genuinely open up and share my perspective. And I felt that I was immediately shut down, very triggered, not wanting to hear me. I didn't feel seen. I didn't feel like I could even get a word in. It was very, very challenging. And I did everything in my being to hold my heart, regardless, just seeing her beyond this particular thing that we're talking about, seeing her as the divine light and the divine channel that she is, seeing her for the light and the beauty of her soul, the divinity that she is. I held my heart wide open. I stayed so grounded in love with everything I could in my being. And I let her know that I'm open at all times. Whatever Spirit's guidance is what I'm going to do. I don't feel I'm on this side. I don't feel like I'm on this side. I feel like that personally, the sides, it does not work for me. It breaks, honestly, guys, it breaks my heart to see these so strong sides. Like, you're either over here or you're over here. And I'm just like chilling, right? I'm just like, nah, I'm right here. I'm right here with the divine. Like, that's where I'm at. And I don't think that if you're on this side that you're not with the divine, or if you're on this side, you're not. I'm just saying that I am following my inner guidance. I am not on anything side, anyone or anything's side. I am just simply following my inner guidance. And so, you know, I expressed how open I am that if my inner guidance changed at any moment in time, and Spirit told me to do something differently, or to anything, like if Spirit, when I don't need to understand, I will do it. It doesn't have to make sense to me. I will do it. That is the level of devotion that I operate on. If Spirit tells me that, you know, I need to, I don't know, go buy a Mercedes, and I'm like, this is really intimidating. I don't feel like I can you know, like I don't feel like I can swing this or whatever it may be. But like, you know, if I had the ability to, if I had the funds and the credit, then like I would go get a Mercedes that day, even if it didn't make sense to me at that point in time. I will always, 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 above everything, follow Spirit and what my inner guidance, what my inner compass is telling me. And so I stood as powerfully and as deeply as I could, with my heart wide open, saying that I hear you and that I just want to be heard as well. I don't, you know, it was like, you know, there was statistics and screenshots and, you know, this like really like, you know, kind of like very, you know, like amplified energy, like very energized, very activated. There was all these walls that went up immediately. And like, you know, I don't like when people say that, like, that doesn't make any sense to me, like you know, spiritual bypassing, all of these things that would, you would think would really hurt me and trigger me, right? And I will admit the spiritual bypassing did trigger me a little bit. That was probably the thing that hurt the most. And it was like such a dear sister that I'm like standing there like so open-heartedly to that, but actually doesn't know me, you know, they just met me that day, to accuse me of spiritually bypassing. You guys know, if you're my audience and you're listening right now, like you guys know how much I literally face shit so head on, like almost like I need to balance it out and like give myself a break a little bit more, and like not always be working so hard on my spiritual growth and facing myself and, you know, facing my shit head on. That, you know, spiritual bypassing, that one did hurt me. Like that one did, I was like, it was like, but I even still, I still remained with such an open heart and did everything in my power to communicate that I am so open to whatever is necessary, whatever is, you know, is meant, whatever is guided. But I will, above all, doesn't matter what anyone or anything says, I will always follow Spirit, no matter what. And so because I truly believe it is because I stood so strongly with an open heart, the love was just powering through my heart space outward. And I just stood so strongly in that, just openly, just openness. That's the best way of describing it. That by the end of the conversation, it went from heated, you know, I just don't think that we're going to agree on this. And, you know, quick, you know, like I would say something and it was like so quick, you know, the like listening to respond, you know, like not actually listening what I'm saying, like, oh, well, this and da 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 da, and well, they work, and, you know, all these things. And I truly believe It is because I genuinely wanted to communicate with my brothers and sisters. I genuinely showed her with my energy, with my actions, with who I was being, not just what I was saying, that I want this to be a safe conversation. I want to hear you. I want to learn. I want to expand. I want to understand. I want to understand everyone's perspective. I want to talk. If I could have a conversation with every single person on this planet and hear their perspective on this topic, so that way I could create my own, continue to develop my own perspective along with my inner guidance, like, that would be so ideal for me. I know that's not realistic, but that's what I mean when I say talking to my brothers and sisters. And that was so clear. It became so potent in the conversation that I was standing there with an open heart. My heart was so open and willing to understand and just wanting to hear, this beautiful person's perspective, even if they were angry, even if they were, tossing their phone at me with statistics. Like, I'm standing there saying, I just want to hear you. I just want to understand you, but I want to do that. I want to communicate in an empowered way. I don't want to feel shut down. I don't want to not feel seen. I don't want to not feel heard. And I'm open and ready and wanting to listen to you. And I just want you to be open and ready to listen to me. That's all. And so, by the end of the conversation, I'm saying to her, like, I truly value and honor, your decisions and what you feel like is best for your experience in this lifetime. And, she's saying to me, I see you, I hear you, I honor you. And she even apologized. She even took responsibility and apologized and said that, I've had so many conversations with people that are so far extreme, the opposite of like how she feels, that it was like, as soon as I even showed an inkling of being near that side, all that baggage, all that trauma, all those conversations that went horribly. And so many of us are losing friends, family, so much separation. And all those situations, that she'd been dealing with up until that point, she was like, as soon as you showed any inkling of that, I just put that on you. I just threw you like in that category. You just became that face to me. And so I stood open-heartedly, open-minded, showing her that I am Brittany. I am not all of these experiences. I am not all these conversations that you've had with previous people. I am not all of these other experiences that I understand are hurtful and that, we're all working through. I am my own individual, and I am open. I'm open in my heart. I'm open in my mind to share and to learn from one another and to truly connect. And she said, I recognize that I did that, and like my walls are down now, and I feel that this conversation is different. I feel you genuinely trying to hear what I have to say. I feel you genuinely, sharing with me that you, like, she was like, I can feel that you are just trying to follow your inner guidance. The level of just genuine open heartness, no matter how upset or how, activated the energy at that table got. It was like, there was a point where it felt like the energy, like the table was on fire, honestly. And I just stood there with my heart wide open, regardless. And we need to be having these conversations like this, guys. We don't need to be saying, like it was like, oh, I just don't think we're going to agree on this. Like, change the topic. Like, I mean, I guess you can do that, but like, to me, that's bypassing. We need to work through our shit. We need to sit there and say, why am I attacking you when you're sitting here genuinely trying to hear me? Why am I automatically attacking you just because you said these 3 words that remind me of these other, 6 to 10 people that I talked to that it didn't go well? We need to have these conversations. We need to not say, let's just drop it. We need to work through it. We need to talk to each other in an empowered way. We need to communicate with each other in a conscious manner where everyone feels seen and heard and loved and honored, no matter their perspectives. Even if it is different from you, even if your beliefs in your being are like, oh my God, I feel like that's so awful for the world. I feel like this is going to turn out so bad that you think this way. Like, I feel like this is going to be such a detriment to all of us because you think this way. Both sides are saying that. Whatever side you're on, whatever, you guys know what I mean, are saying that same exact thing in different ways. And if we can find the bridge where no matter what side of the side you're on or what your perspective is, that we can meet and say, we both feel the same way. I feel like this is going to end up, the decision that you're making is going to end up really, really bad. And the other person can say, I feel like the decision you're making is going to end up really, really bad for all of us. You know, both people feeling that way, but saying, I still honor you. I still respect you. The dignity of you being a divine being. No, just being a human being in this existence. You deserve basic dignity, and I'm going to give that respect to you because you are one of my brothers and my sisters, because we are all children of God. I am going to give you that basic dignity of at least, and I mean, that's at minimum, I feel like really opening your heart and standing with love. And no matter what's coming at you, no matter how angry they get or whatever it may be, standing in that love and standing in that open mind, you know, being super hard on whether you're on one side or the other is creating a greater divide. In my perspective, this is my perspective, guys. If we could be open-minded to the fact that we all at our core have that inner gut guidance, and that's all that we can follow. And then if we can communicate with each other in an empowered way that really allows each person to still feel seen, to still feel heard, to still feel like the basic dignity of being a human being is still being respected and honored here. That's what I feel like could literally change this entire situation. I'm not saying it's going to make the actual illness go away, but we could come together and move through this together at such much more peace and in so much more smoothly if we talk to our brothers and sisters, and especially in an empowered way, in conscious communication. And I also want to say, to be very, 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 very honest. Be very honest. And I'm not saying, you know, unfiltered honesty and like raw and like, oh, I'm just going to say this because this is how I feel. I'm talking about, you know, truly, if you're not open, then don't say I'm open to, you know, getting it or not getting it, or mandates or not mandates, or whatever it may be. If you're not open, then be honest and say you're not open. But if you are open, which I really feel like if we all could just open ourselves to each other's perspectives, it would go such a long way. And if you're listening to this and you're like, wow, Brittany, this feels really great. Like, I would really love to have these kinds of conversations with my friends and my family, then I truly invite you, at least if you're a woman, I invite you into the Empowered Empress container, because there is an entire 2-week portion of that container that we learn about empowered communication. And I didn't even realize until last night, like, how important, you know, everyone at the end of that container, like, you know, looking through the surveys and stuff, they're like, I asked, like, what was your favorite week? So many of them said the empowered communication, like that piece changed their lives. Of course, the whole container does, right? But that piece was their favorite. And I didn't even realize until last night how incredibly important empowered communication is right now of all times. I mean, it's always important to me, but oh my God, like that was so powerful to go from just speaking my perspective as we're in conversation and then a fire flames trigger wall up and being able to stand so open-heartedly and open-minded and really communicating in an empowered way that by the end of it, not only are we saying, you know, I'm carrying these traumas and I'm putting that on you, and you are seen and you are heard, and I do honor, you know, your perspective. But it was just one of the most incredibly powerful. I have not personally, and I'm sure that you guys feel this way too, I have not personally been able to have an empowered conversation about COVID with anyone that doesn't see the exact same way as me. And there's not even anyone that sees the exact same way. Like, I'm trying to think, there's like one person that like we're very, 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 very similar, but even there is some things where I'm like, I don't agree with what you're doing, or I don't agree with that. Like that's why I'm not doing it, because I don't agree with that, you know? Like, it's so incredibly important. If we could do what I experienced, what me and her experienced last night, if we could really, truly open our hearts, put our walls down, and stop putting the last conversation that you had with someone on this topic on the very next person that you see, that you talk to about it, or the last 10 conversations on that next person, and really and truly open our hearts, stand so solidly with openness, open-hearted, open-minded, and really trying to hear our brothers and sisters, hear their perspectives, hear what they've been through, hear how they see this, and not automatically throw them in a category and write them off and say we should just drop it, just let it go. That's not going to bring us world peace. That is not going to bring us along this path as a collective, ascending, expanding. That's coming together and creating that bridge. It happens through communication. And it's so crazy that I'm literally, like, spirit guided me to do the Empowered Empress right now. And I didn't even put together what an incredibly important piece that is in the world right now, to really learn about not only your empowerment and standing in confidence on your own, but then also when you have that, you can have these empowered conversations with one another. And we need this right now. We need this right now as a collective, as a society. And so, of course, I'm going to drop the link below if you want to look into the Empowered Empress Mastermind and you are female or identify as feminine, feel free to fill out the application. It is application only, and it is a in-depth 80-day container, absolutely, completely transformational, and completely change your life. But we do this in such deep work in this container, and the world needs this right now. And even if you're just listening to this episode and can hear that it's possible, it is possible for us to have difference of opinions and to even get upset, to even get triggered, to get hurt, to have someone that we connect with so deeply and that we literally love, whether you've known them for years or whether you met them that day, and you truly love them, they're a soul family, and you just think differently. We all do, but we can bridge the gap, guys. We can do this. And I had to share this just so that it's possible. If I can do it, you can do it. And if you don't feel like you can do it right now, all you have to do is learn the skills. You just have to learn how to communicate consciously and in an empowered way. And this, I really feel in my heart, could be the solution. I'm not saying to the illness, I'm saying to this, like, anger that we are experiencing, this intense, heavy separation and judgment and all these things that you can't even, like, you can't even talk to your friends anymore, your families, and all these dynamics have changed. If we all truly learned the communication skills in order to really be able to hear each other and to feel seen and heard and respected and just have that basic dignity that we each get as a human being, simply by talking to our brothers and our sisters, I really feel like this could so incredibly change and shift things. And I just want you to know that it is possible. If I can do it, if her and I can do it, not even I, if her and I can do it, because we both had to move through that. We both had to move through that in order to get to the place by the end of it where it was like, okay, we navigated that. My perspective on you has not changed. You are still my soul sister. And if anything, I fucking love you more now, dude. You can have that level of powerful conversations even about this topic. If I have now experienced it, I was telling clients, they were asking me for a month, telling clients what I feel like they should say or how they should communicate or what they can do and trying to help them with communication skills. But I didn't have someone that could meet me there. I didn't have a tangible experience in this physical reality at all yet until last night. Every conversation about COVID it just never freaking goes well, if I'm being honest. It doesn't really go well. And to be able to know so solidly that everything that I have been guiding my clients to do, everything that I have been saying to just people as I'm traveling, communicate with your brothers, all these things that I've been saying, I experienced it in real tangible reality last night. And now that I know that we can meet each other, that we can get to that place where everyone feels respected, seen, and heard, we can do this, guys. If I can do it, you can do it. Every single one of us can do it, beyond shadow of a doubt. And I hope that just hearing that this is possible, hearing my story, influences you to really open your heart and open your mind to being able to have conversations at this caliber, at this level of power.
Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed that episode. Please subscribe, leave a review, and if this was impactful for you at all, please share it with others. This is how we can help each other. Much love and namaste.